What's up? What's up? What's up? Welcome to the weekly Wednesday training. I am actually in a little new setup today, as you can see. Like I'm here. I'm actually in Allie's office. We've got some friends that are staying and turned my whole office upside down so we can accommodate, what they needed. So I'm here. I hope everybody can hear me. Today we're gonna be going through tech stack for STR investors and hosts. So they're a lot of the same. The only difference would be like maybe a cash flow calculator, which is still Excel, or if you're going to use something like PropStream or like how you're finding properties. So regardless, like we're going to really get, nitty gritty on some of the softwares that we really use. And like, I'm going to give you some advice of what I think is right and what I think is wrong. I would say wrong, right? I would say like, there's a lot of unnecessary softwares that I've used that a lot of people are using. And at the end of the day, it goes off of last week. So last week we had the entire idea, like run lean and run clean, right? This is a business, not a hobby. So we need to enforce that. When we start going through our P&L, we're like, okay, what can we get away with? Or going to get away from? What could we do better? What could we, leave in the past? There's a lot of stuff coming out. So like in the group, I think it was Jeremy posted like there's 5 new softwares coming out every single week, right? That's what it seems like. We're in an STR community. We're in an STR. Like this is an industry. And if you're not careful, that industry can be like, it can just be a money grab for like every new software you come out with. It can just get overwhelming and crazy. And especially if you're just starting in this industry, it's like, what's true? What's not? What works? What doesn't? Is it necessary? Is it not? So we're going to dive in. I want everybody to know, like I'm just on my laptop here. So I'm not on my big setup. So I'm going to be going back and forth through the comments and stuff. If you guys have a comment, just leave it. I'll try to keep it up, updated. Again, don't text me during this. Like I've had so many people text me while we're on a training. I'm like, I'm not going to see it till we get done. Right. So, Sean, what's up, dude? Let's see here. I will go in and of course I'm switching between like 4 tabs, but let's go in and let's go ahead and get started. So today we're going to be talking about tech stack, STR investors and hosts. Okay. So you could be an investor and you have like 10 or 15 properties. You own them all. You're still going to run the back end the same way as you would if you're like managing for others or co-hosting for others. Okay. Or even if you're arbitraging or whatever, I don't care. We're going to use the same tech. Okay. We're going to use the same tech stack. Now understand there's like within each like little industry, there's all these different types of competitors. So like, for instance, we're going to talk about like IntelliHost and RankBreeze. They virtually do the same thing, right? Like IntelliHost has more stuff added to it now, like around like predictive pricing and some other things, but like they're competitors, more or less they're competitors. And one is way more expensive than the other. And as you start out, like you don't really know the criteria to like be changing and like what can help you and what can hurt you and all that kind of stuff. You don't know where you rank, and that's perfectly fine. That's how we started too. But we're going to talk some more about that. I think this is very, very crucial information. So like I have a whole lot more tech in our stack, if you will, like we have way more than what we're going to go through. But like what we're going to go through is like, we do have this stuff, but it's lean, right? Like this is a lean list. So, you could pay for like 4 different softwares that do the same thing, virtually do the same thing. And like, you're going to should end up canceling them, right? Like, but I'm going to go through this stuff, like stuff we actually use. I would never like promote or push something that we don't have, we've never used, we don't like I'm not, we're not going to do that. So if I have anything bad to say about any of it, like I would pull it off the list. Okay. So if you're just joining and you're just here and it's the first time you ever seen this beautiful face, I'm Kyle Fugit. Me and Allie are married. We do this together. We do all of our short-term rental stuff together. We have a lot of doors that we manage, and I would say like midsummer we should be around like the 250 mark. But we have 2 hotels under management, we're coming on and partnering with number 3, and we've got some properties in Blue Ridge that we manage. In Blue Ridge, Georgia, we got about 22 or 25 properties we manage in Blue Ridge. And then we partnered on another company and bring on about 150. And so we've got, right now live, we got about 100 doors, and then we've got another 16 or 20 coming on in the next like 4 weeks. So there may be 30. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. So anyways, we built PowerPath. PowerPath is we're on pace to be the goal is to be the #1 real estate community in the world for short-term rentals and boutique hotels. I don't care if you're buying them, if you're co-hosting them, you can manage hotels, you can not, I don't care. This is where you need to be. And the fact that you're watching this training and you're in the free group, that's step 1, and I love it. Okay. So if you ever need questions answered, you ever feel like you need to reach out to somebody, like you're stuck in a situation, just shoot me a DM and we'll chat. Not a problem. All right. So remember, this is a business, not a hobby. Okay. I just want everybody really think about that. If it's a business, look at Walmart, how Walmart operates. Look at CVS, how CVS operates. Look at all these companies, a real septic company that's branded and big. Look at the Pink Plumber, look at Rescue Root, look at those and understand that, if they're not making money, they're not in business, right? If there's no money being profited, that business is no longer. So I want you to think about the same thing. And we did this all last week about running lean and running clean. If the business is not making money, and that could be on both sides, right? The optimization side, but also your expense side. So if you're doing $100,000 a month, that's crazy good, unless you're spending 90, or it's 95 or 80 or something like that. Make sure that we're bringing home some money, and the expense side is huge. Okay. Now, last week we talked about getting I had people I had 3 or 4 text messages hey, I'm switching services. Hey, I'm going to switch this. Hey, I'm going to get rid of this. Right after the training. I'm great. They're what should I switch to? Or what about this new company? I'm oh, okay, let's do this. Right. So you're here. Let's talk about the next one. All right. So you have multiple sides of the business that you're in, right? Let's say you're running a couple of Airbnbs or STRs or what have you. And you're okay, well, I have expenses and I have tech for the listing side, the actual, I put on here listing health side. So we know we're doing good, we're performing. And then we have stuff on the back end side, right? So you're going to have different softwares for different things. And that's what I think the best way to break this out is you have your listing side and then you have your operation side. So your team, information, how you're messaging, just different things, how you have the organization structure. That's a totally different side of it, right? So we have the listing side and then we have the operation side. So the listing side I put here. So I put RankBreeze and IntelliHost because those are competitors. At one brief period of time, I had both, right? We had RankBreeze to start with, and RankBreeze originally was just to show you where you listed on Airbnb, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 14, whatever. And then it would give you some recommendations hey, here's some keywords. And they still do this. Here's some keywords of your title. Here's some keywords of your listing description. Here's some keywords for this and have some keywords for that. And so as we went through it, it was okay, this is great stuff. But then you're in the same market and you start seeing the same stuff over and over and over. And you're oh, okay, I haven't been paying attention to this one. So it's been going down on the rankings. So let's fix this and let's change this. And then it'll start going up. And it's 24 hours behind. So you can kind of see whatever levers you're pulling, you can figure out what's working. Okay. And after a while, after everything's doing good, especially during busy season, everything's booking well, whatever. Then we'd come into slow season and we'd realize holy crap, we don't have any bookings for this, or this is down, or this is down. It's because you don't pay attention to it. Also, there's things on the, more than just your listing. There's the pricing. There's how long did it get blocked. There's all these things that play a role into it. And so here's born IntelliHost. IntelliHost is oh, I'm going to beat RankBreeze out, and I'm going to offer you all these things and tell you if your pricing's too high and all this other stuff, which is totally cool. You have to you have to build on what you have if you're going to stay competitive. So like IntelliHost came in and said like Rank Breeze, you're going to get competitive, right? You're going to start doing things better. Well, IntelliHost started doing that, and then they started doing like a pricing optimization thing. And I got a screenshot here. It's like the predictive pricing thing. I've used it. Does it work? I would say most people that use it have somewhat success, but you have to do some training around it. It's not perfect. The only thing I really didn't like about the predictive pricing, and again, like I'm not an expert in the predictive pricing section inside of IntelliHost. We've got some people that are, but like for me, we would change it, and then it would be there based off of it's new. Okay, that's the best thing I could say. Like it's new, so there's always learning, and there's pieces in there that'll be like based on your occupancy and your demand, like based on like Price Labs, we think you should be listed like 318 a night. Okay, well, you switch it. And then what I didn't like is it would stay there until you switched it again. So I think they've come a little way from that. Like it's kind of like another dynamic pricing thing for you. And it like reads back to Price Labs and Airbnb and all that. In my opinion, if you stay on top of your stuff and you understand Price Labs, you don't need that. Like if you actually understand Price Labs and you actually understand your market, in my opinion, you don't need predictive pricing. So that's just my opinion. The idea is like, I'm just going to pay for this new software to handle my problems for me. And it doesn't work that way. Okay. You have to do some studying. You have to understand you have to take in the knowledge. You have to spend some time with it, or just hire it out to somebody that is an expert. Okay. But make sure they're an expert. So that's a totally different conversation. But on the left side, you see another tool. So like Rank Breeze, I tried to log back in just to show you both platforms. I tried to log back in. We canceled our subscription like a long time ago, so I didn't have access to anything. It just said like pay for this, and then you can have your dashboard back. And I'm not going to do that. IntelliHost lets me back in, and you can see like this is the dashboard that you get when you come in. And so it has like all these different things, and it tracks like IntelliHost is good. Okay, I'm not like trying to like crap on IntelliHost, and Rank Breeze is good. I'm not trying to crap on Rank Breeze. I'm just telling you like these are the two softwares, but IntelliHost can do more, but it is also way more expensive. Rank Breeze, if you just want to know where you're listed, like cool. And I think it's like $4 or $7 a listing or something like that. I can't remember, something like that per listing that you have live. Okay. Now I think they actually changed the pricing that you pay for like bulks of listings. So like you pay for like 3 listings at a time, and then you pay for like 9 or 12 or whatever. I could be wrong on that. That's what I saw when I tried to log back in. So you have these two. You have Rank Breeze and you have IntelliHost. So if you're going through the listing side, like usually when you start out, you'll have one of these. And I do recommend signing up for one of them. Okay. I just don't recommend you signing up for both. And if you're going to use it, then use it. And what happens is like, as you get really good at this and you get really understanding in your market, you're going to really know what you're doing. Okay. You're going to understand like what the way the titles need to be structured. Like you don't need this stuff forever. Okay. It would be a good idea to have something like if you have a struggling listing and you're like, I can't diagnose it for nothing, sign up for a Rank Breeze or IntelliHost, figure out what they're telling you, but just understand what you're looking for. Excuse me. Like, don't be like, okay, well, I need like 15 different things. Like just figure out what you're looking for and use it and get off of it. So after a while, you'll end up canceling them. You won't need them. But there's another tool here that's completely free. And this is an Airbnb Insights tool. So you'll go into your account on your computer. You can do it on your phone too. It's just a little bit more confusing. Go into account on your computer, click like Insights over there on the drop down, click Insights, and off of the Insights will come in and be like what your views are, your conversions, like all this stuff. Okay. When you're looking at this, there's a couple of filters that you need, and one of them's like you change like your listings and from like all you just want to identify like one listing. You can change your date, so like it naturally says for like the last 30 days or whatever. Make sure you push like the next 30 days, the next 90 days, so you know what you're looking for. And from there, it'll give you some information. Okay, this is like views over on the left side, like conversions, views. This is super important to know. Like, okay, I'm not booking anything. So and this is what the other two do as well, but Airbnb has come out with this. So like you're not booking anything. Okay, well, question is, are people even finding your listing? That's your first question. If you're not finding your listing, then you have a problem with your ranking, okay? And it could be like your title sucks, your picture sucks, your description sucks, you got a block calendar, nobody can find your minimum days. Like there's all these things that have to do that, but that's like your first step, okay? So you utilize this tool to get you there. Now, if your views, like you can see this black line is us, everything else is the market, the dotted line is the market. We got crazy views, okay? And if I look at my calendar, I'm like, oh, this is like, I'm not getting anything. Then if you look at the three, your hook, your story, your offer, the hook is there because they're clicking on the listing. So is it the story or is it the offer that sucks? Okay, so like if you realize like you have a bounce rate and something like IntelliHost can tell you like what your bounce rate is, how long they like click through and all that stuff. I think Airbnb may end up having that. But like if you're hearted, you know, like crazy with your wish list additions, you have all these like positive things behind you, then your offer probably sucks. So you're like, you have to book 7-day minimums or your pricing's too high or your pet fees are too high or whatever. So there's like a diagnosis through there, and IntelliHost will help you with that. So if you wanted to pay for IntelliHost, like they will help you through that funnel. Airbnb won't technically help you through that funnel, but when you get good, you won't have to pay for IntelliHost anymore. So listing side, listing health, Rank Breeze or IntelliHost when you're first starting out. I would recommend one of them. But understand the Insights tool too. And as you go on, like I occasionally will come back here. I'm like, all right, we got some kind of issue. This listing isn't, you know, we're humans and have business too. And so like every once in a while we'll run into a listing like it's struggling and we just don't know what it is. And so then I'm like, okay, let's go back to the beginning, right? Is it the hook? Is it the story? Is it the offer? If it's the hook, that means like the way the description is and the pictures and people are like clicking on it from not the description, but the pictures, the title, you know, what's a pattern interrupter as they're scrolling through Airbnb. And the next one is the story. So then you got your description, you know, all of your pictures, all of that stuff. And then you have your offer. So then we'll personally just go through all this like manually and be like, oh, okay, it's got to be it's got to be this. And then we look at the pricing. We're like, oh, well, the pricing's too high. You know, we got away from us or whatever. So listing side, Rank Breeze or IntelliHost for a brief amount of time, understand and learn, and then, you know, learn your Airbnb Insights tool. So that's like software for your listing side. Okay. This is like very brief on this side. The rest is like really detailed. But I can't spend all day on this. I just want to spend a good amount of time on this so people understand. Okay. Because these will help you, especially if you have like listing 1, 2, and 3, really up to like maybe 10. I would say like one of these is going to help you. And then after that, you like truly understand what you're doing. Okay. Let me make sure I don't have any questions over here. No questions. It's a little light today. It's all right. So from there, then we roll into, let me just double check something real quick. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. Okay. Perfect. All right. So when we look at the listing side, there's a lot. There can be a lot. Okay. But just to keep it lean and keep it like organized and to the point and understand what we actually need, you need a PMS, you need dynamic pricing, you need to manage your cleaners. And I've got Canva on here. Canva can be used literally for anything. But Canva, I'm just going to rope that through. Like Canva should just be in your pocket, like at all times. From like creating a document all the way to creating a guest book. Like you can do everything in Canva. You can even edit some of your pictures. Like you can make maps and stuff for your pictures, like property maps, or you can make location maps. Like you take it out of Google Maps, and then you say like, oh, I'm this far from Whole Foods or whatever. So Price Labs is my go-to for dynamic pricing. OwnerRez is my go-to for PMS. And you might say like, why? Well, for Price Labs, I've never used anything else. I've never used Price Point, or I did demo this thing called Ideals for like pricing revenue for, I think, for hotels. And in my opinion, it did not do what I needed it to do. Okay. I watched it actually cut the demo about halfway through. I think it was like Ideas Elevate or something like that. I cut the demo halfway through. I said, look, I'm looking for this one exact thing for the hotels. Can you do it? Can you not? And in my opinion, they couldn't do what I needed to do. Okay. So I just cut the demo off halfway through, and that was it. And I think the rep actually got pissed and told my cloud bed rep, like, we're not going to do this again, something like that. I may have that story a little butchered, but just an idea. Like, look, we are very savage on our time, like, and we need to be savage with our money. So, like, don't go through and like spend all this money on stupid stuff. All right. Anyways, I'll tangent for this stuff because I kind of geek out when it comes to what we're actually using. So, Price Labs, I really only use Price Labs. Hotel stuff, I'm not using Price Labs. I'm using something else. I'm using Pi inside Cloud Beds. We're giving that a shot. OwnerRez. Okay, why OwnerRez? I started with Hospitable, and I think Hospitable is a great platform. So you could use Hospitable. I started there. I switched to Guesty. Why did I switch to Guesty? Guesty supported more of the property management side versus Hospitable. Hospitable supported like the homeowner, and I think that might have been like their target market at first. And then as we grew, I was like, okay, we need owner statements, we need an owner portal, we need this, we need that. And I realized that like Hospitable was not the answer for us. Guesty was. Well, Guesty was like the most recommended in the place I was in, like in our environment that we were in. And so we signed up for Guesty and we just start chugging along. Well, Guesty is like $55 or $60 a listing now. That's crazy. Okay. Just like to put that out there. And I know some of you have Guesty and you love it and all that stuff. I don't care. Okay. For me, it's a bigger on a financial decision than anything else. We switched from Guesty to OwnerRez. Now, if Guesty was like if Guesty was the software that did a lot of things for you and you could cut costs to other places, okay, like I could see that. But they don't. Okay. So OwnerRez, we went to OwnerRez. We went from like $50-something a listing to like 11. At the same time, we got Turno for free. The lock management, we went away from like links is what we were using for like lock management. You know, they changed the codes for every guest. Guesty has a great lock support inside of there. It's like $8 a door versus $15 for links. Well, OwnerRez has one for $4. So like you just start looking at the costs saved if we went from Guesty to OwnerRez. So we went from paying like $55 to $11, and then we got some other stuff for free. So it really, for us, it was like almost $2,000 a month to save. Now I don't care how much you love a software. If you can save $2,000 a month by just switching, everything else the same, then I would do that. What we found is OwnerRez is actually really, really set up for property management. They have great portals. They have great statements. They have great everything. And it is a little like you can see OwnerRez over here on the right. It can be a little like clunky. I don't want to say clunky, but clunky, right? So everything's like real crisp, square lines kind of thing. And so Guesty is kind of like the more slashed, more elegant kind of looks. It looks good. It can be super user friendly, but we were just finding quirks in there that we just couldn't figure out. And at the bottom, at the end of the day, like bottom line, we were saving money, right? We had to save some money. So OwnerRez, I'm going to push OwnerRez for PMS. That's what we use actively now. Price Labs over here on the left. So this is all of your dynamic pricing. It is not a set it and forget it. It is a set it and it will guide. And then you need to alter some of the different things like your low ends, your high ends, your holidays, your other stuff. Okay. Let's see. You got Turno. So Turno is what we use for cleaner management. Okay. So hold on one second. I got to change this over here. So Turno is what we use for cleaner management. Now, Guesty has cleaner management in there. OwnerRez, I think, has a cleaner management. But like at the end of the day, we use Turno. We get it for free, like completely for free. And by doing that, we save like $217 a month, I think, by going free. Okay. So, and it's free. I mean, it's free. So like, why not use it? Now it'll also do other things like, so you can put a cleaner on it. The cleaner can accept all of her cleans or his cleans, or whatever. And then they can also reject them. So if they're going on vacation, they can just like say, hey, I'm going on vacation and I'm just, I am needing a backup cleaner or whatever. Well, there's also lists. So like you can do inventory lists and you can send it off to, or the cleaner can fill out the inventory list and they can send it to you and you get it through the app. So, you know, like toilet paper, soap, trash bags, that kind of thing. You know what to be able to order and they can just say, hey, there's a problem. So like you can see in the picture here that there's like property problems right here. There's like 14 that could be like low inventory. Okay. Or a light bulb's out, or like you can do maintenance and stuff like that through it too. And so what we would do is we would say, okay, Miss Cleaner, fill out this list. Here's everything I need. And I need all the pictures. So like when they turn, like the best thing about Turno, in my opinion, is when they do the turn and the clean, they will actually, like, they will submit all your photos. You can make it a requirement, submit all your photos and do a list, like an inventory list. And that will send you a notification every single time. What I find is people don't want to spend the money on Turno, which with OwnerRez it's free, but they don't want to spend the money on Turno, and they'll screenshot the calendar and send it to the cleaner. And that, in my opinion, that's ridiculous. Okay, don't ever do that. Like, and then you got last minute bookings, you got cancellations. Then the cleaners get upset because they go out to a property, and you're like, well, you know, we got this, we got that, and you know, this had a cancellation. I'm like, well, I want to get paid, you know, because I still drove out here and I still had to cancel another clean, like all this stuff. Just use a software like Turno. Again, if you go with OwnerRez, it's completely free. Okay, so these are the big three for me, and then Canva. Okay, and the reason, like, you can find some softwares like for your PMS that are great. Okay, there's a couple of great ones out there, OwnerRez being one of them. But at the end of the day, if you're not making money because you're spending $2,000 extra on softwares or $3,000 an extra on softwares, that just doesn't make sense. What are we doing? We're giving everybody else money and we're not even, like, we're not taking any money. Like, so if you're only making like $5,000 or $10,000 a month and you're like, well, I've got OwnerRez and I've got this and I've got that and I've got this over here and I've got this over here. Like 50% of that is before you pay yourself. Like 50% expenses before you even pay yourself. That's crazy. Okay. So like, let's get real on what we're doing and start getting savage. Like, and if you tell me like, well, I don't, you know, I'm just going to push this whole change because I see this all the time. Change from guesty to OwnerRez. Like, I see this all the time. People are like, I don't want to do it. I have like 20 listings and it's just such crazy. And then the next week they're like, I'm spending way too many things on expenses and I've got so much overhead, whatever. And I'm like, guys, switch your highest ticket stuff first. And they're like, well, I don't want to. It's too much of a pain. I'm like, I don't care. Okay. Like, it's either that or like just quit the business because you're not making any money. You're giving it away to all these different softwares. Like, that's stupid. Right? Now, Canva, I said Canva you should always put in your pocket. You just like walk around with Canva. They can create everything. And one thing that we've actually had the discussion, Allie has given me like massive pushback, is we stayed at a boutique hotel on a beach. And their guest book was like 14 pages of Canva. And I was like, Allie, it's like $12 a month or whatever Canva is. And I was like, we actually use TouchStay. We use TouchStay for all of our guest books. And it's like $4 to $6 a listing. But I think like as you grow, it gets cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I think we're paying like $120 something a month for TouchStay. Now TouchStay is great. Like, don't get me wrong. But I was like, can we do it though? Like, can we build back into Canva? And she was like, we can, but that is a lot of work for only $100 a month to save. I was like, okay, but like if we get lean across the board with our bigger ticket items more, because we can save $100 somewhere else, then we don't have anything else to cut, then maybe we'll have this conversation again. But I'm telling you that you can do it in Canva. Not a problem at all. Like, it's literally made to do that. Okay. Now, on the back end, like full back end on the company side, organizational side, Like, what I find is a lot of people, one, they don't know where to go, so they don't have anything, right? Then I find this like everybody wants to use Monday. Everybody wants to set up automations. Everybody, because you want the inside of the business to look good. I set up Monday. I've got these pretty boards. I've got all these, like, I got these CRM boards. I got these to-do boards. I've got these things all in Monday. And it's like, spend the money. Just get it. It'll save you time. Like, horse crap, right? In my opinion, horse crap. And I've used Monday almost to the fullest extent of what it can do. And it's amazing. Monday.com is amazing software. But you have to be really clear on what you need it to do. Okay? That's just an example. So Monday, in the, like, I'll give you a couple of examples. If you're onboarding a client, you can build Monday into a CRM board, and you can have these different categories of, like, initial discussions, walkthrough, contract sign, onboard fee sign, all this stuff. And you can just move the deal card, is what it's called, over with, like, the property owner and their contact information. You can just move it over, through the process. And that's great. You want it to look pretty. You want it to look organized. Like, everybody wants everything to be organized all the time. And that's totally cool. But what happens is we just go buy all these planners. We go buy all these calendars. We go buy these huge posters. We get in a buying frenzy because it hits like a certain emotion in our brain and in our heart to be organized. And in my opinion, that's what Monday sells. They take all this chaos in your mind and they say Monday's the solution. It can be, but we don't use it that way. Okay. As a short-term rental investor and host, manager, property manager, there's a lot of things you can use on Monday, right? You can track your refunds, your claims. We do client success. So, like, we used to put it on like a quarterly reminder, like send us an email. So you can set that up. And it's totally cool. Like, it's awesome. Workflows, reminders, like, you can do all these things. As simple as just a to-do list. Here's the problem. You start paying for Monday, you start paying for all these seats, and you end up just not using it. And so that's what we found. We're like, okay, what do we not use anymore? Well, we don't use the onboarding stuff. We don't use the refunds anymore. We don't use the claim boards anymore. We don't even care about the client success reminders anymore, like, because we're just trying to hit them on the quarter, so it doesn't really matter. We don't need workflows or anything like that. So we said, okay, let's go to ClickUp. So Monday and ClickUp for organization, like to-dos, are competitors. So ClickUp is free if you use, like, below a certain package. Monday is only free for like 20 days or something like that. And then you have to buy 3 seats. Okay. So you're immediately paying like $7 or $8 a seat. I think is what it is. Like $4 or $5 a seat right out the gate. So $15 to $20 a month is what you're paying initially. Well, do you need it? Right? That's my question. Like, maybe it makes your life like a tad easier, but does it really? And, like, do you understand Monday enough to actually set this stuff up? So again, what I find is people sign up for Monday, they'll start paying for it, and they're like, I don't understand it. Like, okay, you don't understand it. Well, it takes it's a learning curve, right? There's people that actually charge big companies to set up Monday for them. Like, it's 12K or 15K to set up Monday for them. Like, it's crazy because Monday can do so much. So make sure, like, if we're going to pay for Monday, then we need to be using it. But the question is, do you really need it? So, like, could you put all your to-do stuff in ClickUp? So we had the whole team, like, transfer everything over from Monday.com to ClickUp. And we said, okay, in ClickUp, I just want you to transfer. And it took some investigating to, like, really figure out what happened. We were on a call a couple of weeks ago, and someone was like, I want to see your Monday boards. I want to see your ClickUp boards. And I was like, okay, but, like, we don't use it anymore. And what happened is we told the team to transfer everything over that we use. And they transferred, like, one board over. And it was a daily to-do board. And I was like, guys, is this really all we were using for the entire time? Like, this is crazy. So we started using ClickUp as, like, a to-do list. But when I was like, okay, well, where's all these boards at? Like, where are you guys tracking the stuff at? Because, like, we're not in the every single day operation anymore. We have a full team that works with us. So we're focused on more of the high level stuff. So like if we're going to acquire another company, or if we're going to go land some more deals, or we're going to call homeowners and we're going to network and we're going to do that kind of stuff, like that's our job. And then realizing where the money goes and make sure everybody gets paid. That's our job. So I literally logged in at ClickUp and I was like, where's everything at? And they're like, oh, we just use Excel. I was like, what? So Microsoft Excel, it's totally free. And you can do anything in there. So like if you're going to learn a software, learn Excel. I found out there's a lot of people don't know how to use Excel. They don't know how to make sums. They don't know how to make differentials. They don't know how to make, filters or conditions or whatever. Hey, if this is above $50, it needs to be marked red or whatever. So, or when you do a drop down of yes, then it produces a date or whatever. So like we realize that all of our boards are back in Excel. And I say all of them, I mean everything from supply tracking and orders to refunds to claims to regular expenses. Like, hey, the hot tub guy was $275 for Hideaway Cove or whatever. Like, okay, that needs to be notated. Or if I text the team like, hey, I just picked up this X, Y, and Z at Home Depot on my way to go check this property out, like signing this property, just do it. They take that back to Excel. So Monday was just like a waste of money and a waste of time. It is a beautiful software. Don't get me wrong. Like it's got the nice colors. It can do this, can do this. You gotta have that great marketing. But for short-term rental operators, in my professional opinion, you don't need it. Okay. So stop looking over the fence at somebody else's yard. It's greener on the other side of the fence. Like stop looking at that. Okay. Just get lean and understand the software you're using. So we use Excel for everything. You can use the G Suite. So G Suite would be like you have your Google Suite, you have your emails. Like we have to have that. Oh, I didn't realize that. There we go. So we have to have the email, and at some point you will get away from two things. You'll get away from the mindset of like, I don't want to spend $20 a month on the G Suite to get an email. But then you'll go spend $25 a month or $30 a month on Monday that you don't even use. So like, I just want, to put that out there. But the G Suite has like everything, and you'll move away from like Cherokee Rose Homes at gmail.com and you'll move into admin at CherokeeRoseHomes.com. When you look at that and you are dealing with investors and you're dealing with other business owners, that becomes important. People understand that you're not just operating off of a Gmail account, you have a business account. Make sense? So as you add team members, you're going to also want to do services at CherokeeRoseHomes.com. These are real emails, by the way. Or help at CherokeeRoseHomes, or Louis at CherokeeRoseHomes.com. You start implementing that system and everybody has their own logins. You become more like a business, okay? And for some reason, everybody wants to like go sign up for like 4 or 5 emails out the gate. But then they're like, well, I don't really have a business that I'm growing right now. Like I'm not really growing it. I don't have an income coming in. I'm like, but you had this idea to just go have all these logins and stuff. Like it's crazy, okay? It's just crazy. So just take it one step at a time. But the G Suite is awesome, okay? So you have your Google My Business, you'll have your Gmail, you'll have your different accounts, and you need that, okay? But like that is a necessary, it's a necessity in your G Suite. And you can do a lot of stuff in there. Meta Suite is another one. So the G Suite's huge. Then you have Monday and ClickUp. I went over that already in like forever. Versus each other, pretty much. Then you have Trello. So Trello is a really great software that we have. Again, we have all of these except we canceled Monday. We still have ClickUp, but it's like a daily to-do list, which could be an Excel, but we're not paid for it. Trello is really cool because we use it for SOPs for each property. So if each property has like, if they have an HOA gate or they have a form that has to be filled out or, certain kind of questions, like we have all the Excel sheets for all the cheat sheets for each property, but we have Trello. So you can like just pull up the app and each property is a card, and you just like switch through the cards, and you can figure out exactly what you need to figure out. Like you can say, okay, like what's my code to get in over here or whatever. Like what's the cleaner code for this property? Like, well, Trello, doop. Okay, it's 1101 or whatever. So that makes your life easier, and Trello is super cheap. So in my opinion, Trello is more important in my opinion than Monday and ClickUp, because you can take those other to Excel. Trello just makes your life easier. So you got Trello, you got SOPs for each property. Maybe you have like weird questions, like people like, how many cars can I fit in the driveway? Or does the sun come in the living room? Or does it, like, when the sun is rising, does it come on the front of the house or the back of the house? Or, I've seen some stupid questions. So you have Trello, then you have DocuSign. So DocuSign's a must. A lot of people ask, like, signing their first couple of clients, and they'll come in and they'll be like, well, I'm going to go sign this client. I got to get their wet signature. So I'm going to print off an agreement. I'm going to meet them at some point. I'm like, why not just send them the guest agreement through DocuSign and have them sign it? Why push this 6 weeks or whatever? And DocuSign is, I think we pay $40 a month for DocuSign, and we have quite a lot of seats, and we have quite a lot of things that we do in there. I think it's like 40 or $42 a month. So we pay for DocuSign, but we have contracts for owners that come out of that, and guest agreements. So the guest agreements will just flow all the way through. Like, you can send it separately, especially for direct bookings. You can send them separately. We send them, we use for every agreement, now that I think about it. HOA gates, we just throw it in DocuSign and make the signature and move on. So any kind of like paperwork that needs to be handled, DocuSign. Okay, you can do anything from just your own signature to like filling in a gate information for an HOA. That's something that we have to do. So you can have that literally for all of it. All right, so DocuSign's huge. And then Stripe. So people say, like, what, how do you take payment? How do you do this? How do you charge for onboard fees? How do you charge for onboard fees? How do you charge for design fees? How do you charge for all of these? Stripe. It's just that simple. Like, it's super simple. It's Stripe. So I've had people come in and they'll be like, well, I started shopping around, and no deals. Okay. It's not like they're doing $50,000 a month in transactions. And like, I started shopping around for like all these like merchant, collections, right? Like Stripe or like Square, or then they start naming stuff that I've never heard before because they have low fees. The problem with that is Stripe connects to everything. Like, you find something that I've never heard of, and they're not going to be connected to anything. Square doesn't connect to everything. Stripe is amazing. If they charge a 0.2% higher on transactions or not, like, I don't care. They connect everywhere, so they make your life easier and they integrate. Stripe does have fees. Like, you're not going to get around payment processing without paying some kind of fees. Like, you can have ACH, which takes forever, or you can just do Stripe, which is instant. You build in the credit card fees for your direct bookings and all that. But like, if you're charging anything outside of just your bookings, if you're charging anything like design, onboard, maintenance, if you're marking up maintenance, if you're charging back for, if you're charging for anything, Stripe is where to go. Okay. So Microsoft Excel, G Suite, I'm skipping the Monday and ClickUp, Trello, DocuSign, Stripe. And that's on the company side. Listing side, we got Price Labs, OwnerS, Turno. Those are your big three. So your dynamic pricing, your PMS, and your cleaner management. Those are the big three. And Canva, just always keep that in your pocket. And then these are just your listing health side. So RankBreeze or IntelliHost. If you're green, get one of them. If you're struggling with listings, get one of them. Okay. So like, let it be a crutch. Teach you a couple things, learn it, and get out of there. All right. So this is what the tech stack looks like. Now there's a lot of other stuff out there. There's like HostBuddy AI, which I've heard is great. I don't know. I don't need it. It's $7 a listing per month. If you're going to get HostBuddy, then you don't get a VA. If you have a VA, unless you don't have 24/7 coverage, like, turn it on at night, and that's it. So instead of hiring your second VA to cover your night shift, go with something like HostBuddy. But HostBuddy can only do so much. right? They can't book reservations for you. They can't answer the phone for you. Maybe not yet, but Host Buddy, $7 a listing per night or per day. That's awesome. Or, I mean, per month. That's awesome. And let that alleviate your VA. If you have 10 listings and you're like, well, I'm just going to get Host Buddy so I don't have a VA. Like, I don't think that's the right thing to think about. Host Buddy should be like a stepping stone, in my opinion. Anything like AI messaging should be a stepping stone for you to get to the next place. Okay. What's some others? There is there's a bunch. There's all the different there's a bunch of different new PMSs. There's a lot of AI stuff coming out. ChatGPT is an amazing one. Wix is an amazing one. StayFi, you have links, you have all these different things that are just extra expense if you're not careful. Okay. So ChatGPT, yeah, get it 100%. If you're going to be like writing listing descriptions or you're going to write blogs or whatever, then get it. But if you get it and you don't use it, then cancel it. Okay. There's a lot out there. I would say there's one, somebody was talking to me about inventing about like helping with reviews, not removing them or anything, but just helping, like, hey, you started to get maintenance reviews in. So like that's going to track what your maintenance reviews look like. It's going to be $2 a listing a month or $3 a listing a month. And it's going to respond to some reviews, but it's also going to track what all your reviews are. So like if everybody says, hey, the TV doesn't work, it's going to track that and it's going to start alerting you after like 3 or 4 times of a report. And I was like, okay, that's cool. But like, my opinion, I'm not going to use it. I don't know many people that would use it because you have VAs, you have these systems, you have these things in process. I'm not saying it was a bad idea. I just personally wouldn't use it. Again, we run lean, we run clean. There's no reason to start going to buy all these softwares that are like going to make you more money like that, like, or whatever. So if you want my honest opinion, shoot me a message and I'll tell you exactly what it is. But get to work. I mean, like, if you need some help, scan this QR code and you can book a call. Okay. And we can jump on and we can go through certain things and figure out what you're struggling with. But I'm just going to tell you, like, when it comes to the tech stack, the less the better. Stop spending stupid money on stupid things. Things aren't going to, like, you can't just purchase a software and it fix your business. Okay. It doesn't work like that. So if you're going to get a new software, go through the onboarding, go through the training, go through all of that stuff. And from there, like, execute. Okay. If you need anything else, let me know. With that, I will give you some time back. I appreciate you staying on here through the training. This will get uploaded to YouTube as well. So we're pushing a lot more stuff over to YouTube. There's a lot more education that you're going to see over there. So go to Kyle Fugit YouTube channel. We changed it from the Power Path podcast channel. It has a podcast channel inside of it. So just go over there, follow us, Kyle Fugit on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, the whole thing. And from there, guys, I will see you later.